A very good afternoon. Report that we're live again, and we've been away for a little bit. We've been on vacation. We've done some other things. We were completely depressed about the bear market, which kept on going, but we also have positive news to make. Hi, Idan. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Vincent?
Yeah. A little depressed. Luna, 6-month bear market, but I'm really happy that you wrote a post which we're going to discuss today, how to survive a bear market, because I really need it. And also we're going to show a strategy which we created with Diamondpigs, that even in the worst possible time, like the last 6 months, you still can make money by having a BTC only. For the rest, we're also going to discuss the news. We're going to talk about the Luna crackdown, what we can learn from that, and some other things, other questions from people, which people will ask us. Hopefully, we'll really enjoy that. Let's immediately go to it. We're going to try to do it fast. We're going to try to keep it in half an hour. So first thing about all the bad things which happened in the last 6 months, which we learned a hell of a lot of, is it's interesting. It's the pizza birthday. It's the 12-year anniversary. 2 pizzas for 10,000 bitcoins. So I mean, it's really good to see. Bitcoin halved, but it went up from it was 20 euros for 10,000 Bitcoin. So it was really worth nothing. So we've come a long way, baby. The cheapest the first time I saw Bitcoin was 7 cents. The first time I bought it was €7. And the first time I sold it, it was €700, and I bought a Tesla of that. Okay, so that is, keep that in mind. We're just in the beginning phase. We're going to also have Mark Andreessen talk about that, what phase we're in, actually. Okay, market analysis. Bitcoin went up for a little bit, but we're still in an incredible greed, instead of fear part. Even the last time we were online, it was 24. Now it's down to 13. But there's incredible amount of fear, and the reasons are pretty clear. We're going to discuss that in a little bit. We saw that Bitcoin went up 10%, and I had this slide selected yesterday. Warning: this is not the start of a Bitcoin bull market. It's just a bear market rally, and that was from Bloomberg. So that was a good warning. And yes, after I basically made this slide, we were eating. What happened to Bitcoin, Idam?
Ooh, boom.
Yeah, it went down quite 5%. A bit. Okay,
yeah.
Let's discuss the market. How are we doing at the moment? Maybe you can go to TradingView and show us.
Yeah. So now we're looking at the Bitcoin chart. It's funny, it just reached 30K. So it's kind of still on sideways on the 30K for a long time. In fact, since January, we are sideways. If you want to look at a daily, going up and going down, going up and going down, but we are actually more or less on the same levels. What I think it's interesting to see right now that the Bitcoin dominance is very high, and I want to talk about that, because that means that the alts are doing really bad. So the Bitcoin dominance went up, and that's 11 May. What happened in 11 May, Vincent?
Yeah, there was some kind of a little coin which basically went completely berserk and dropped down in value of 60 billion. In it was on my birthday, so I totally remember. And you were extremely pissed because you had a position in Luna.
Well,
so,
I was staking in Luna. Yeah, I was taking some Luna, and but yeah, so that's what happened. And you see that Luna crashed, and the altcoins had a huge impact since then.
So everything went down, but most people went to the safe haven, which Bitcoin is more than Ethereum, More than Ethereum.
Much more than Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin went down as well, right? So it's not like Bitcoin,
Sure.
but Bitcoin went down, but the odds went even much lower than that. And if you look at the Bitcoin dominance is up 4%. If you look at the Bitcoin ETH, which we can look as well, this is the ETH. But if I look at the Bitcoin ETH, you will see that.
Yeah.
That is not performing well at all. And again, it all was triggered by the Luna crash, and that you see how it hasn't been ending. And until we'll see a change in trends, odds will keep on bleeding, and they are bleeding badly right
well,
now.
We'll see how it goes. The positive news about Ethereum is that June the 8th, they're starting a test network to go from proof of work to proof of stake. So that's happening on June the 8th. We'll see what that does. I mean, of course, that needs to go well, but I think it will be it will be fantastic in the end of the year. If Ethereum is able to go to proof of stake, because Bitcoin is then the only big, huge one which is helping and using a lot of energy. Okay.
That's okay. For me, just one more things to add. Bitcoin is a digital gold, and I think we need to position it a little bit different than the ETH, and the ETH are more related to the alts. And when the ETH is suffering, and we're talking about now $18.25, it used to be on $4,800 6 months ago, or 7 months ago. Then the rest is bleeding. So don't expect to see any rally before Ether is recovering. And until then, we are on a sideways bear market.
It's a bear market. Yeah. Well, we know that we know that already for 6 months, or at least we saw it happening 6 months ago, and 4 months ago we knew that we were in the bear market, but we're still in the bear market. Yeah. Which means it's a fantastic time. If you want to step in, this is a good time. But for all of us which are looking at at the value of our investments, it's a pain in the butt period. But I'm going to say why I am actually really happy that it happened to us as a Diamondpigs, because it has been really good for us, even though we suffered a lot. But I will come to that later. Okay. Yeah. Any more analysis?
No, just maybe a little bit about the macroeconomics. I mean, we look every time we have this show, we're looking at some other factors, indicators. We look at the Dixie, that's the dollar. It has reached an all-time high, or at least reached a very high on a few weeks ago. Since then, it dropped, but it started climbing again. It's very similar to what we see with the bonds. This is the 20-year bonds. It went up and it went down, and it reached some and start up, trending up again. Yeah. It's all related to the fact
that the interest rate is also pretty incredible how high it's going. I mean, we look at the base rate of the FCC, but I look today at the mortgage rates, the mortgage interest rates. If you want to buy a house, you know what the interest rate is now, Idam?
In US or in the Netherlands?
In the US.
No,
5.4%. 5.4%. So it's really. I mean, that becomes expensive to buy a house. Money becomes really expensive. Okay.
Yeah, and why are we looking at that? Because that all has an impact on the Nasdaq. And when the Nasdaq is going down, it's very highly correlated to Bitcoin and highly correlated to the crypto. And we see that, although in the last couple of days, we see some recovery from Nasdaq, we don't see the same recovery from Bitcoin. So there's a decorrelation. It's a negative correlation for Bitcoin, but it may indicate that we don't necessarily need to have a correlation all the time between Nasdaq
but we also saw that Bitcoin went up. It went up 11%, and then the only thing is that Bitcoin went down 5%. So we'll see what's next. What about commodities? How's commodity pricing? Are we?
We said as well. As long as commodity is climbing, I mean, it has to do with the embargo, the oil embargo of Europe on Russia. It went up, the oil went up, everything goes, well, the rest are actually going a little bit down, but oil is dominant, of course. And again, that is a huge motor for high inflation. And as long as the inflation's figures are expected to be high, then I don't anticipate any recovery, not on the equity market, any on risk asset, neither on the crypto market. What I do want to say is that there are some indicators, some signs that show us that the inflation, or what the Fed has already done in the last couple of months, has some positive impact on the inflation. We may
You are always a
some...
champion in finding positive signs.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
It was 8.5. Now they are looking at 8, so it's going a little bit down. And if the trend will continue, and the Fed will confirm that their actions had some impact on the economy, and the economy is not growing as it used to grow, we may see some relief rally on all on risk assets. So
okay,
let's see.
Okay, let's move on because we said we would do it. More things need to happen before we can go further.
Yeah.
Let me see. Wait a second. I'm losing my. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a look at some other news. Also not positive. Solana, extremely reliable in being unreliable. It's just like I mean, it was just amazing how that the new kid on the block was doing fantastically. Went up a factor of 100 in 2021, and you know was threatening Ethereum, but now they have another outage. Didn't they have an outage before?
Yeah, they had a couple of outage. The blockchain is the idea is it's scalable, and it offers very high transactions, but it means that they are not 100% bulletproof, and they have problems. Nope. And every time there is another issue that they have, it was tonight between 4 to 6 hours. It was off. It was down. And that's not good. And you can see that if you want me to show the price, I mean the price has been again went down. It's lower than $40. Its all-time high was $260.
$260. Okay.
And that was in November. That was 7-8 months ago. And so it's back to the levels it used to be in July. And do we see a V-shaped recovery here again? I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know in crypto.
They need to stop putting more features in and adding all kinds of stuff and becoming reliable. That's their goal. Okay, so that is Solana. That is that's also not helping. And then you also see that if you look, we are always looking at how much locked up value there is in all the different networks, and what is at the moment? What do you see as trends, Idan?
Yeah, first of all, everyone losing a lot of value locked. So value locked, it particularly the liquidity pools of the DeFi, the NFTs, all those values went down dramatically. Yeah. The other thing that we see that Ethereum used to have 50% market share, it's up to I think 68%, predominantly because Luna has lost all its liquidity. Yeah. And that, so everyone's down in terms of total value. That means that people are not trusting those platforms as they used to. Maybe they need cash because there's high inflation and they need to pay for to go to the supermarket. That can be also another reason.
I think it's more. I mean, people do not trust to put money into all kinds of into networks.
Those platforms.
Because the platforms. I mean, the Ethereum is still reasonably up. But all the other ones, I mean, now people have seen that things can disappear. Yeah. Okay, another not so positive thing is that you see that crypto venture capital was incredibly up in 2021. It was 7%. It was really high. Everybody discovered it, and now everybody is down. So we'll see what that happens. Then, if we look at Terra 2.0, you were incredibly disappointed with Luna because you love Luna actually, and I said you stoke it for 20%, and I go like, this is too good to be true. And yeah, we made a little video out of it that I said, this is too good to be true. It cannot happen. But it was a nice, big, huge system with lots of different services, and then it went down. And then the second one, Luna 2.0 came up, and here we see that everybody got. How did that work with you? You got money into your wallet, or did you get it in Binance, or how did that work for you?
No, so first of all, I was staking. I wasn't really saving on the Anchor protocol. I was just staking Luna, and yes, I lost all the Luna. And never get attached and emotional to any coins. That's a very good lesson, and that I knew already. But sometimes you get attached to coins, and you need to stay away from the emotion part.
It was a nice ecosystem with a lot of different services and a lot of very enthusiastic community and an inspirational Korean leader who was quite arrogant, but he was very active, and it went really well. I mean, at a certain point, it was top 5. Bitcoin was doing well, and everything looked well. Every billionaire in the world thought it was good.
Yeah, we are in experimental world in the crypto. We shouldn't forget that, right? Okay, everything is experiment except of maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything is a venture, and when you invest in a venture, it can go 100K. It can go 100 times, but it can go also to 0.
Yeah,
and that's a good lesson.
Luna was about 100, I think, and then it went down to 0. And then everybody who had Luna got Luna 2, and it was briefly 20. It went down to 4, and now at the moment it went down up to 10, and it was down to 6. But I mean, still the value is a couple of billion, right? At the moment, Luna 2.
Yeah, it's a couple of million, but it's more a casino.
Couple of billion.
Yeah, a couple of billions, but it's more a casino. What happened is that we all got the ones who were staking, and you had Terra Station in the wallet. You just got Luna 2, and you got a certain amount of Luna that were released immediately, and you can sell it, and the majority of the coins are still locked, and you cannot sell it, and there are some schedules when you can sell it or not. Let's see. It needs to. The whole Luna idea was based on stablecoin, algorithm-based stablecoin. It's now proven that's not working, at least not at this stage. And Doc Won, the CEO, his biggest challenge is that he needs to create a whole ecosystem based on other elements and not based on the Anchor protocol and the stablecoin. So let's see if it works. He has a lot of work to do.
All right, we have 4 lessons. I thought this was a really good article in Crypto. What was it, Potato or something like that? And this was really nice. I thought this little thing here on this right, in 2009, Bernie Madoff lost 60 billion, and he got 150 years in prison. And in 2021, Do Kwon lost also 60 billion, and he immediately created Luna 2.0, which was worth 3 billion after, not bad for a couple of days of work. But okay, the 4 lessons very quickly, and we're not going to spend a lot of time. Stable assets require stable reserves. All the regulators are now really focused. They were already focused on stable coins, but stable coins are really important in the economy as general. It's a reserve, but also very much in the crypto market. And we need stable reserves, and we also need systems so that you can really see that if they report something, it's true. And so that's one. So buy value, not hype. But you thought that Luna was a good, solid system. It was not, or did you think you were blinded by the hype? How do you see it now behind the fact?
I think it's a good question. I'm not sure. I thought it was a very interesting technology, and I hoped for the crypto community that it will work, because that would be a big breakthrough. It didn't work, and that today you can say afterwards, well, it was a hype, but it was a whole ecosystem, and there were a lot of good and still good of applications that running on this ecosystem. And then he tried to back it up with Bitcoin, and that was, I thought, a good move, which, it didn't it didn't manage to keep it alive, but
Okay, so
It
we
is what it is.
learned it was very difficult when you. I mean, I was looking also at it, and I thought it looked pretty good. And I thought
Yeah,
this stable coin, which was worth 18 billion, and then the Luna itself was worth 40 billion. So I thought that was a nice reserve for a stable coin. So I thought it was completely believable. But so far, it's proven that it doesn't work. That doesn't mean that it won't work next time, but this time it doesn't work. What I also learned very much is crypto isn't decentralized. I already knew that, but a lot of these coins are just controlled by a couple of people. Just in this case, it was this .com, and
yeah,
when things went wrong, first he basically said, "Oh, let me take the reserves and buy, a bunch of billions of
yeah,
Bitcoin," and that was his own decision, and
yeah.
then he started to sell it all. And then he stopped the whole network. I mean, .com owned everything and had control over everything. So it was not decentralized at all. And I think that's worth with more coins. It's certainly not. That's not true with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a lot more stabilized and a lot less difficult for one person to control. Ethereum, there is already a lot more. You have the Ethereum Foundation. You have, of course, the big inspiring leader, but he cannot decide things by himself. But with
No,
Dokon, and I think with Solana, is it the same thing? That's probably 10 people who decide, and there's probably one person who decides
correct.
everything. It's not decentralized.
No.
And then here, stay humble even if you're rich. Why is that a good statement?
Well, Doc One was very arrogant at some stage. He saw that the price went up. He obviously became a very rich guy, and he started talking bad about his competitors, like Maker. He said Maker should die, kind of the die Maker is going to die. And he had all those statements, but the people didn't appreciate. And so even if you are successful or you think you are successful, stay humble. It's important. It's a good lesson in life, not only in the crypto, but everywhere.
Let's see if we can find somebody who is more humble. One thing, a little light at the end of the tunnel. We had all the negative news. Mark Andreessen was a hero of mine in the internet's time in 1999, 1996. He started 1994, actually 1996. 1996, he was very much into Netscape. My God, I cannot even remember the name. And then he became a venture capitalist, and he's really been very much into Web3, and he's invested a lot. So last year and he says, it really feels like we're at the beginning of the stage. That is interesting to see. And let me see. I wanted to have one other thing before I could do that. Wasn't there one more other slide which I wanted to share? Now I completely forget about it. But this Mark Andreessen was a good guy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is the one I wanted to show. Another guy here, this FTX founder, Sam Bankman, he signed the Billionaires Giving Pledge. I don't know if people know what it is, but it's about 250 billionaires. Bill Gates, of course, and Buffett, and Larry Ellison. But there's a lot of people there, and FTX founder also signed it. That means that he will give away the majority of all his savings during his life, and that these people, the 250, would be a nice club. I think I would like to go to a meeting like that, having 250 billionaires having a nice meeting, discussing how they're going to give away their money to good causes. And so we now have our first crypto billionaire. Mark Zuckerberg is, of course, also there. And stay humble, stay rich, stay humble. This guy is not arrogant, right? I mean, he's owned 21 billion. He's now worth 21 billion by a company, FTX, so an exchange like Binance, a little smaller. But when did it start? I think he started.
It started in 2019, basically.
2019. So 3 years ago, and now he's worth 21 billion. So the company FTX is worth a huge amount of money, derivatives and that kind of stuff. And they just closed a 400 million fundraising round, so they got money, but and they're worth 32 billion. So this really still ridiculous amount. But he's going to give away the money. So I think after what we saw at Luna, this is a good inspiring thing.
Yeah.
Then let's say you wrote an article about how to survive during the bear market.
Yeah,
Give us your take on that.
Yeah, I was obviously you and I we have some years in the crypto, and I went through the 2019 bear market, and I thought that at this stage it's good to write some notes and to share what I feel and how I survived this period, because it's tough, right? Everyone sees the invested money and a lot of the value, they lost the value, and they hope that it's going to go up, but it's not going up. And all of a sudden there's a small market relief, a cat dead bounce, and then it's going down, and then you lose a little bit more money and again more money, and keep on thinking,
and then you get
what's
depressed,
happening?
And then
right?
you go
get
in your
depressed,
shell and you don't do anything.
You don't want to.
anymore,
You go into the winter sleep, and you want to hear about that. You don't want to do it. And I thought, let's write some thought. It helps me also to deal with this period anyway. But first of all, we need to prepare ourselves, and the first thing you need to do is to have patience. I know it sounds very banal, but it's the first thing. We don't know how long this is going to take. Usually it takes longer than we hope. And usually the bull market, it takes shorter than we expect. So that can take a long time. And it's not depending at all on the crypto market.
The longest is 3 years. The longest we had was until 2017, and between 2013 that was free of 3 years. And then we had 1.5 year. The bear markets can take a year.
Can take definitely
years or 3 years, maximum 3 years. But normally it's shorter. So we'll see. Be prepared to do that. Okay. Stay away from the screen. That's also a second one. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, a lot of people, are getting a little bit addicted, waking up in the morning, immediately looking at one of those apps where they can see the pricing and say, oh, it went up, it went down, it went up. After an hour, looking at it again. Crypto bursts are working 24 hours.
We have 5 more minutes to go, so let's finish that. What about these fundamental things?
Yeah, if you want to do something with crypto, start learning about crypto. Go and look at companies and interesting coins that will one day hopefully reach the top 20. And you need to do a good analysis on that. Look at the team, look at the business model, look at the competition, look at what they've done so far. Look at the tokenization. That's why I mentioned the fully dilution one. There's a whole analysis you need to do on tokenization in order to assess a coin. And once you choose to invest in a coin, then just go for it. The pricing are really low right now. It's even lower than VCs have been stepping in some of those companies. So just buy it and give it a year or two and see how things are going then.
No, well, I'm getting more and more. I don't want to do all this stuff. Okay, but be fearful when others are greedy. Okay.
Yeah, so get in now. And not when it's on 68K, the Bitcoin. Get in now, because
consumers are always doing that. Okay, and then you have another thing like look at full dilution, some more thing that you need to know exactly. So, but this is what you basically wrote. I will share it, and then I am going like, I don't have time to do all this thing. I mean, like fundamental. So, what is the other way? To basically handle this bear market?
Yeah, that's why we came up with Diamondpigs, because we wanted to
join us. Let other people worry about it.
We want to have a group that can have analysis and have smart people who created algorithmic based tradings and all of that, and give you an environment where you can just have at the end peace of mind. And we will choose the coins. We will do the analysis. We will trade for you if you want. If you choose to be on an active trade, and if not, we just invest it in an index fund or a strategy. So, that's what we do.
And it's interesting. If you do this, you create a free account, and through our strategies performance, I just wanted to show you. Let's do that for a second. You can basically you can start an account. And what I want to show you, this is simulation. You can start an account, and immediately you can try out what you want to do. For example, I say, hey, I want to invest $10,000 in July the 9th.
Vincent, are you sharing something? Because we don't see anything. We still see the blog.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just wanted to show you. If you start an account, if you start a free account, the first thing you can do is play with without money. So this is our dashboard, the play mode, and you can say, okay, if I have 10,000 euro, I want to invest in it, and I want to start in well, let's find a nice period, January the 1st. And then you can say, okay, I have 10,000 euro, and it goes up to 22,000 euro, then it goes down to 11,000 euros, goes up. This is if we take a certain strategy. If we look at Satoshi, if we look at Bitcoin, then you see the same thing. You go up 10,000 back and forth. And there's one other strategy which I think is really interesting. That's called Hereford. And Hereford is a new robot-based or bot-supported strategy, and it only goes to Bitcoin or it goes to USD. And I think this is the first thing which happened to us. We were, of course, also very much, taken by the depression. Everything went down 50, 60, 70%. And what we did, we completely changed the way we do trading, and we started to develop an amazing amount of bots. And we're now, the bots basically help us to determine the sentiment. And this is the first one we have live for our customers, the first new one. And you can see if you invested 10,000 euro on January the 1st, then it goes up, it goes a little bit down, goes up. And it basically, you see that at long time, it stays in USD. At the moment, it also stays at USD. And then here, at the moment, you can see those coins. And then at the end of the period, it basically has 13,000. So it has a 39% return on investment. Even though if you then compare it with Bitcoin, in the same period, it went down to 8,600. So it went down a lot. It went down 15%. And the Bitcoin strategy of Hereford went up 15%. And if you look at it, when we opened the fund, that was in October the 1st. On October the 1st, we went live. And it's really even more interesting. Went live on October the 1st. If you've invested 10,000 in Hereford, you would have had now 13,000, so 30% return on investment. And if you would have done Bitcoin, you would have now had 6,700. It would go down 33%. So this bot really says, this bot really decides, hey, it's time to go in the market. I'm staying out of the market, go in the market. Then it stays out. And here it also stayed out in the last couple of months. So I think this is really interesting. You can try all kinds of money you invest in certain times, and see what the results are. And this is for us. This is the future. You need smart people like you, like Ronald, to find out where should we invest in. What are the fundamentals? But you also fundamentals. You've done a really good job doing that. But you also need to know what is the sentiment of the market, and therefore, to determine the sentiment of the market, we have these bots, and they're becoming really, really good. And I think this is really exciting for us.
Yeah, totally agree. And when you have the market sentiment, the bot can determine when to step in and take a long position or when to stay out, and that's the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I think that I think is the exciting thing. We've learned from this bear market. We created new technology. We're now able to analyze sentiment. The bot is now running most of our funds. It's basically determining should it go in, should it go out. What we invest in is determined by smart people like you, Idam. And then basically, I think that is a very positive new start for us.
And what we also
spoil a good crisis, and we did that.
And Vincent, I think it's important again to stress what you did stress. Everyone can sign in free account. Everyone can experiment what you see in the dashboard. And if you don't want to continue, it's okay. If you want to continue, then you can connect your Binance. We are working now on additional APIs with additional exchanges here in the Netherlands to offer also to Bitravo and other parties. But you can always just experience that by creating an account. And if you don't want to connect your wallet, then it's okay as well. And once you want to connect your wallet, it takes a couple of minutes. You connect your wallet to us, and you can choose some strategies, whether very low risk strategy like a top 10 index, or a little bit more market sentiment strategy, which also not very high risk, or very active strategy working on 4-hour candle. And it's all possible.
Alrighty. So that's basically what I wanted to do for today. Well, it's 35 minutes. We have a tiny little video explaining what we do, and then we'll be back in 1 or 2 weeks. Maybe not 2 weeks. I'm going to Norway. Maybe we'll be back next week. Okay. Thank you very much, Idam. We'll see each other.
For the last 10 years, cryptocurrency has been the best investment opportunity to date. The most well-known coins are Bitcoin and, of course, Ethereum, but numerous other great digital coins have shown a far better financial return. Many people stick with these two big coins, what's known as hodling, because they simply do not have time to manage it smartly. To achieve optimal financial return with cryptocurrency, you constantly have to monitor the crypto market, be up to date on political and macroeconomic events, as well as the stock market performance. It's a time-consuming exercise and challenging to figure out all by yourself. Diamondpigs has been created to make this unique investment opportunity accessible to you. The easiest and smartest way to invest in the crypto market. We are a group of experienced serial entrepreneurs with extensive backgrounds in the crypto market, finance, online services, and technology, and started a crypto investment fund 4 years ago with an 800% return in the last 2 years. During this time, we've developed a number of unique strategies from which you now can also benefit. You can pick a combination of strategies that suit your profile and goals. These can be focused on sustainability, minimizing risk, fundamental analysis, or focused on sentiment. You get a dashboard where you get clear insights in the results. You can always adjust the strategies to whatever your needs are. And the best part is, your money always stays in your own digital wallet on the world's biggest crypto bank, Binance. And we do the rest. What do you have to do to join in? Simply register at diamondpigs.com and we'll help you on your way. Minimum investment is $5,000 and the first month is cost-free. This video is for general purposes only and does not contain any financial advice.